What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Prep Rally Podcast, your go-to huddle for high school sports action in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. I'm your host, Sydney Ruth Mulvannon.
I'm Graham Thomas. Leland Barclay joins us in the River Valley. We've got the highlights, the hype, and of course, our Gimme 5 and Top 5, where we count down the top athletes of the week from the Northwest Arkansas and River Valley Democrat-Gazette.
Whether you're listening on the way to practice or sitting in the stands, we've got something for every high school sports fan. Let's kick it off with this week's biggest wins and wildest finishes as we reel it back. Welcome back to the Prep Rally Podcast. Let's start with who's looking good out here.
Sydney, you got any Halloween candy left?
No, I don't celebrate Halloween, actually.
Oh, my. Well,
Yes.
we actually forgot to give out our Halloween candy, so it's all sitting in the closet.
Ooh. Well, take it to the state championship and pass it out to people. I'm sure they'd enjoy that.
I ain't passing it out to nobody.
What? You gonna eat it all?
No, but we're just kind of a little bit here, a little bit there, spread out a little bit.
Nah, sharing is caring. Well, all right, guys, let's dive into some games.
All right. Good morning, Leland.
Morning.
So we're gonna start off in the 7A West. We're not gonna spend a whole lot of time in the 7A West because everything happened about like we thought it would. With Bentonville West with a 56-0 win over Northside, and Bentonville rolling all over Springdale. Rogers bouncing back with a mercy rule win against Harbor, and Fayetteville beating Heritage. So no upsets there. That could have
Gutsy with your terminology today.
Hey, we gotta get going here. We just gotta roll through some of these. So a lot of big games coming up in the 7A West this week, but we'll dive back into that in the next segment. But I do want to talk about the 6A West. Probably some very significant things happened over there. You have Greenwood with a huge win over Southside, and the biggest thing coming out of that one, Leland, has got to be Kane Archer making state history as a quarterback with 100 passing touchdowns and 50 rushing touchdowns.
Wow.
Yes, he's now thrown for 122 career touchdowns. He's rushed for 50. First quarterback in state history to go 150, and it's really not even close. He, nobody's even really close to that. There's, been some, Ty Story, other guys that have been close to that. But Kane Archer establishes really a new, I guess, set of metrics for a quarterback to be measured, at least a versatile run pass threat. Did that on Friday night, and we'll get into that a little bit more later.
Well, and I just want to say this. I didn't have this one on my bingo card this year, maybe from the passing standpoint, but certainly not the rushing. The guy's got all these rushing touchdowns this year. It's wild.
But look,
he's now thrown 24 touchdowns this year. He's rushed for 20, which puts him in another category of a 2020 guy for a single season. And that list is also pretty small. I've got all those guys going back, several years. And that's a small list too, especially in the larger classifications, because coaches just don't want their quarterbacks running much. So a 2020 combination, also a rarity among high school quarterbacks.
And I mean, another plug, but our Prep Rally Road Trip first episode was with Greenwood, so we got to talk to Kane before the season started. And I mean, you could tell that he knew he was going to have a season well beyond what he did last year. I think it's interesting how you guys meet these athletes, these D1 athletes, and he was determined. It was impressive to see the confidence of yeah, I know I'm going to do better than last year, but that just goes to show you the training at Greenwood and how well they train these athletes.
Well, and last year was such a different kind of milestones. It was his passing completion percentage, and this year it's been Not that for sure. He's not anywhere close to that, I don't think, but it's been the other things. So, what's really interesting about this, Leland, was as great of a season as Greenwood had. They're 9-0, 6-0 in the conference. Hey, they've done nothing yet. They still haven't. They haven't even clinched the number one seed in the conference. That's how they got to do that this week at Mountain Home against a really good Mountain Home team. So
Yeah, about the only thing they've done to this point is they have at least clinched a share of the conference championship, which doesn't mean much to them.
nope, and they've got work to do. And Chris Young's got to love that going into this week. I mean, there's nothing they've accomplished. Everything to this point doesn't mean anything anymore. It's all about what happens this week. Speaking of Mountain Home, boy, they came down to Van Buren and just rolled up the Pointers in a big win. That was a surprise to me. I thought Van Buren would bounce back. Mountain Home was all over them from the beginning.
I thought it would be close, and especially with Van Buren's loss to Greenwood, I thought it would be close.
Well, it started out bad and it even got worse. They Mountain Home got a safety early to make it 2-0. They kicked off, they scored, and now it's 9-0. All of a sudden, before Mountain Home's offense really even touched the ball, and then Mountain Home's offense run up, 366 yards. Brantley Phillips and Barrett Miller is a really good combination. And I think they're going to give Greenwood some fits on Friday night.
We'll see. That's going to be a really fun evening in the north central Arkansas mountains. A really pretty drive over there, and then you can't see anything on the way back because it's so dark. Okay, let's stay in the 6A West real quick. I got to give Siloam Springs a shout out. 35-game conference losing streak is history with a 21-6 win over Russellville. Russellville is barreling toward 0-10, but Coach Doug Lockridge and the Panthers, got another monkey off their back. And we've all, with Coach Lockridge being in Alma for so long, we've known him a long time, and really happy to see him turning things around over there, Leland.
Well, especially they've Titus Benson, the freshman quarterback they started the year with, he kind of went out, and they played several guys at quarterback on Friday night, including his older brother, Boaz Benson, who actually completed 5 of 10 passes in that game. Siloam Springs, 258 yards rushing, and got a big 21-6 win over Russellville.
Let's go to the 4A1. Prairie Grove with a 52-50 shootout win over Gentry. We're going to talk some more about that one in just a little bit. I guess the biggest one there, Sydney, is Elkins wrapping up its 4th consecutive conference title with a 21-16 win at Gravette. Boy, that was just sounded like a real bone-crunching kind of football game, and the stats kind of say that from everything we've seen. Speaking of bone crunching, a lot of bones were crunched at Charleston with Boonville and Charleston, Leland.
Yeah, that was kind of an old-fashioned game. 21-7 Charleston. But Charleston had the score with under 4 minutes left in the game to put that game away. Boonville had 63 rushes for 238 yards in that game. They scored on their second possession of the game. They had a 19-play drive that took 10 minutes and 2 seconds to tie the game at 7-7. They lost a fumble on the opening on the second play of the game. Charleston cashed that in for a 7-0 lead on Carter Little's 1-yard touchdown run. And then after Boonville scored on the second play of the second quarter, Bryson Wibbing took the kickoff back 85 yards, and it's 14-7 early in the second quarter. And that was all the scoring until the fourth quarter. Boonville had a 16-play, 9-minute and 25-yard drive, 9-minute, 25-second drive that Charleston stopped at the 13. Then they had a 15-yard play, took 8 minutes and 7 seconds off the clock that Charleston stopped inside the 1-yard line. And then they finally got the decisive or the clinching touchdown with about 4 minutes left to win 21-7. Just a great defensive game back and forth between two rivals. Charleston or Boonville is going to go up to 4A next year, but these two teams are going to keep playing in a non-conference game. So it's a great way to decide the number 2 seed and the number 3 seed in the 3A1.
Well, it's good to see they're going to keep playing. They need to. That's a great rivalry, and it's good for
Absolutely.
everybody. So, and then the last thing, and it was an exciting time Friday night. But how about the Mansfield Tigers did wrap up the conference championship, and I suppose one of these teams can still share it with them, but they've got the tiebreaker over everybody, and so they're going to be the number 1 seed, and just Whit Overton, man, what a great job. He's already our River Valley Coach of the Year from this past year. And he's just followed it up with another great year.
Having a great year. They can have their first ever 10-0 regular season. In fact, the last time they went undefeated in the regular season was 1928 when they went 5-0-2.
Wow.
And the losses were to Havana and Hartman.
Hey, even
Hartman, of course. Hartman now is part of Johnson County West Side, but
shoot, not me thinking a lot of these high schools didn't exist before 1950.
Even Leland didn't exist in 1928. So
no, not even me. I do not.
Leland wouldn't be alive if that. Well, actually, you could.
I could, but I do not remember that season. If anybody is asking, but but they have bigger and better things that they want to accomplish. They're going to be at home in the playoffs. Throughout the playoffs, they're in a tough side of the bracket with Salem and Bismarck, but they'll get them at home. Charleston and Boonville, they'll be on the road in the second round. So,
well, it was the one team that I knew once I had a good thing going, I just couldn't pick against them. Well, that being said, we want to thank our sponsor for today's show, West Termite. Take control of your pests with West. Whether it's termites, mosquitoes, bedbugs, weeds, or lawn disease, West has the experience serving Arkansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma since 2003. Book your free consultation online today at westtermite.com. All right, guys. Ready? One.
Sorry, I jumped the gun there.
1, 2, 3.
After all, West knows
pest best. Leland!
There is a little bit of a delay, probably about a half-second delay, I think, and it's not instantaneous over there.
Oh boy, we'll get it by state, guys.
We need to trick him into coming into the studio again.
That exactly. Prep Rally fans watching this episode, leave comments if Leland should be back in studio here for our state episode. Say yes.
Hey, but I like my helmets.
We have helmets here. Look behind me, Leland. Okay, you're missing out the fun in studio. So drop that in the comments below, telling Leland to come, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Prep Rally. Let's look ahead to some of these upcoming matches and make some predictions.
Okay, well, the big one in the 7A West is this week. We have the Battle of Bentonville. Bentonville at Bentonville West from Centerton at Wolverine Stadium. So as best we understand this, this can go a couple different ways. If Bentonville beats Bentonville West, they're the conference champion outright. No share, no nothing. That's the straight line, Bentonville West can have a say in this, though. If they beat Bentonville by 2 or more points and Rogers beats Rogers Heritage, then there will be a 3-way tie, and Bentonville West would be the number 1 seed, and all 3 would be able to share the conference championship. If Bentonville West only wins by 1, I believe Bentonville will have the number 1 seed.
Which, that's so funky to me.
Or maybe it's Rogers. I'm not sure. Well, because if it's only 1, then maybe Rogers moves ahead of them. I'm not sure how this works.
I don't know, but a win should be a win. The point system thing is funky to me.
I would love to see the chaos. So, it's fun. It's fun that way. We're expecting a great atmosphere at Bentonville West and Centerton on Friday. That's a huge matchup. The Bentonville Tigers. We haven't said a lot about them this past week. They hammered Springdale pretty good, and they're kind of poised to do this. But Bentonville West, be the first, right? That's what they want to do. They've never beaten Bentonville, and this is a team that can do it.
I think, in general, I think it's so easy for, I think a lot of teams to just go against Bentonville. They're kind of the villain of the conference in a way, but they're a good team. They're a good team.
Oh, they're a really good team. They are so balanced, and they do everything right, and they're going to be a really tough opponent for Bentonville West on Friday.
But it's a different Bentonville West team, and so I think it'll be a good matchup.
Oh, absolutely. Another great matchup. We've already talked about it. Greenwood at Mountain Home. Greenwood's leaving today to get up to Mountain Home. It's going to be a long journey by wagon. They'll get there in time.
Yeah, it's geography lesson. Where's Mountain Home?
Oh gosh.
In comparison to Greenwood, like
darn
how far
near
is that?
Missouri.
Oh.
It's a long trip. I'd say it's going to take Greenwood between 3.5 to 4 hours to get there.
Oh my gosh! Wow. For reference, I'm from Northwest Arkansas, and if you're from Northwest Arkansas, you kind of just know Northwest Arkansas.
Well, Mountain Home is definitely not Northwest Arkansas, but the very eastern fringe of Northwest Arkansas for us is Harrison, and Mountain Home's a good 60 miles past Harrison. It's way over there.
Shoot, that is a wagon ride.
But, Greenwood typically travels okay, and they'll be ready to go, and we all know Mountain Home will be ready to go. It's going to be an exciting game. Southside. Let's talk about Southside here, Leland. Pretty much the easiest way for them is win and you're in. If they can beat Siloam Springs, they're in, and but nothing is assured yet.
No, very likely. If they beat Siloam Springs, which Siloam Springs is going to come in with a lot of momentum. But if Southside wins, they'll be the 5th seed, and they'll be on the road in the first round of playoffs. But it's the road is at this point in the season, every team wants to hold their own destiny in their own hand, and Southside certainly holds that. Greenwood holds that in their game against Mountain Home. Bentonville holds that in the game against Bentonville West, and that's what teams want going into the final night of the regular season.
Hey, I've been thinking about this, how the last couple of years Van Buren's been those road warriors in the first round of the playoffs. I could totally see Southside doing the same kind of thing this year. That's a team I wouldn't want to run into in the open round of the playoffs on the road. I mean, because they can score. They've got potential. They just haven't been able to put it all together yet, but now's a great time to do it.
Absolutely, and they're going to take some, hopefully, maybe, a lot of momentum into the playoffs and hitting the road. Because obviously, like you said, their offense is capable. Peyton Zimmerman, one of the best players in the state at his position. Wide receiver Malachi Warren and Ethan Dunn, 2 of the best linebackers in the state. So they've got some guys that can play.
All right, the 4A1, Elkins has kind of wrapped things up, and that's that's pretty set. But below them, there's a fight going on with Gravette and Gentry, and Prairie Grove's in the conversation too. Now, Gravette's beating Prairie Grove, but Prairie Grove beat Gentry last week, and now Gravette and Gentry play each other. The Western Benton County rivalry, pretty intense, that Highway 59 rivalry, and the winner of that one's going to have probably the number 2 seed from the conference, a home game in the first round of the playoffs. We're excited to see how that one's going to go. And we can't not talk about the May Bowl.
I'm excited for this one.
I mean, you've got Charleston head coach Ricky May going up against his son, Brock May from Greenland. I don't know that I've ever remembered having a father versus son matchup as head coaches. I know they've been on, I've seen it before where it's been like one might be an assistant or something.
I've only ever seen it, in the NFL level with brothers, and it was the, oh my gosh, what are their names?
The Kelsey brothers?
No, as head coaches.
Oh.
It was
the Harbaugh.
The Harbaugh brothers. Yeah, that was the only time I ever saw like family relation head coaches go head to head like that.
You wonder who misses which side. I know which sideline Mrs. May is going to sit on. She'll be on that Charleston sideline for sure. Probably secretly pulling for her son.
No, she might have a shirt that's half and half.
Leland, I know we've been talking about this one since media day in July.
Yes. In fact, I talked to Coach May the Coach May at Greenland up at Media Day, and he was already excited about that. Except for the fact that Charleston's really good. And for 2.5 hours on Friday night, Coach Ricky May of Charleston's, I think he's going to probably put that aside.
Now, this conference, Week 10 is a long way away. It'll be here before you know it. But Week 10, Greenland's going to take on Charleston. Charleston's head coach is Ricky May, and his brother Bryson is the head coach there. And, of course, Mom, Rachel, that night is the cheer coach at Boonville. She won't be there, but what's that night going to be like for you?
It'll be fun. I text my dad, call my dad, my brother, both of them, every week during football season. This year will probably be just a little bit different. I may have to ask him a couple things about who they played and try to get some insight on some other people. But, Week 10 rolls around, we'll be ready for it. We'll be excited. It's unique for sure. But I'm their biggest fan all year long except for Week 10. But after that, I'll be going for them again. And in a perfect world, we play in Week 10 and, later in the season. But, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But, it's exciting. It really is. It's exciting.
As far as Mrs. May, she carried that boy for 9 months, and she may be sitting on the Greenland side.
Well, and here's
for some moral support.
I mean, we're getting close to Thanksgiving, so whoever wins this game is definitely going to have bragging rights at the dinner table.
Well, and there's some really, important stakes here. If I'm not mistaken, we'll have to go back and look, but Greenland really needs to win this game to make the playoffs, and it would be rather crushing if Daddy's Tigers, kept the Pirates out of the playoffs.
Why'd you have to say it like that?
I'm just saying, it's just a reality because it's really important for Charleston, too. Charleston can't not win this game. They've got to win it.
All I'm saying is family, so
except when it comes to football.
Yeah, but
Except for 2.5 hours on Friday night.
Like I said, guys, holidays are coming up, okay? So, need to be good sportsmanship too.
Well, I'm sure Leland will enjoy visiting with those guys later this week. Probably they'll lead off his notebook. I can't imagine that it wouldn't be. So let's just go right into who you got. And this is our bonus pick, the May Bowl. You can't go against Charleston here. They're a really good football team. They were my pick to win the state title in 3A, I think. And so I'm going Charleston. Who you got, Sydney?
I'd love to see where, the sun wins and everything like that, but can't go against Charleston. I'm going to have to pick Mr. May, the original, the OG.
Who you got, Leland?
Yeah, Ricky May's Charleston Tigers I'm not going to say they're rolling because they were held under 200 yards of offense against Boonville on Friday night. Now, a lot of that was the fact that Boonville run 64 offensive plays total in that game. Mansfield had 34 offensive snaps in that game, including 14 in the first half. I don't see Greenland being able to hold down the Charleston offense, and I think Carter Little and Charleston rolls in the May Bowl.
Low-key, I thought you were going to pick May Jr.
Oh, yeah, I had no doubt he was not going to pick May Jr. Gravett at Gentry, it's a 4A1 showdown in western Benton County. Gravett coming, both teams coming off tough losses. Gravett with a tough loss at home against Elkins, Gentry with a tough one against Prairie Grove. I'm going to take the Gentry Pioneers. Talon Williams threw for 500 yards last week. He's gonna be firing away again this week. Give me Gentry to beat Gravett at home and get the inside track maybe to that number 2 seed in the conference. Sydney, who you got?
I'm going to pick Gentry as well.
You didn't seem like you really liked that one, though.
I'm going for Gravett. That didn't sound right saying that. I didn't trust that.
So Gravett or Gentry?
Gravett.
Okay, Gravett. Leland, who you got?
Man, and this is a tough one to pick because Talon Williams is coming off a monster game last week. Like you said, over 500 yards passing. He's had a great career at Gentry since transferring from Shiloh Christian. I guess after his 8th grade season, he's had a tremendous season. But I think Gravett makes enough defensive stops to win the game on Friday night.
All
Hey,
right.
if I've learned anything in football, mainly from the Hogs, okay, you can have one really stellar game, and that don't mean anything the next week.
No, it's right. I mean, it doesn't do a hill of beans for you for this
Yeah.
upcoming week. Speaking of hill and beans, Clinton at Ozark, a 4A4 showdown. Leland, you're going to be there, so I'll let you lead us off here. Who you got?
You know, this is for the second seed in the conference, which means it's for a home playoff game in the conference, which we all know is huge, especially in 4A that is so balanced with so many good teams in it. Playing at home to start the playoffs is just vital. The second seed is a really good draw as well. Even though they go on the road some, it's a good draw based on the bracket and the teams that kind of line up ahead of it. Huge game in the 4A4. And Ozark was so close against Dardanelle. I think they get over the hump against Clinton, which is maybe, from what I understand from other coaches, maybe this is the best Clinton team ever. But I think Ozark gets over the hump after barely losing to Dardanelle. They win this one. They get to play at home again in the first round of playoffs.
I also got Ozark and Josh Watson continuing to add to his case for being the River Valley Democrat-Gazette Coach of the Year amongst a very crowded field of really good coaches down there. So give me Ozark to beat Clinton. Who you got, Sydney?
Well, because I've never heard of Clinton in my life, I have to go to Ozark.
All right. Sounds good to me. Greenwood at Mountain Home. Who you got? Man, are you kidding me? Greenwood.
Yeah, Greenwood. Like, do we all need to just say it on 3? 1, 2, 3.
Greenwood.
Leland.
Leland's going with Mountain Home. Watch him. Watch him. Look at him.
Leland.
No,
Oh my
no, I
gosh.
am not. It's impossible to. I mean, if you go back 25 years from that first state championship that Greenwood won in 2000, it would be very difficult to pick against Greenwood because mathematically, it's not going to pan out very well if you get, picking against Greenwood each week. Even though I think this is going to be a very competitive game, I think Mountain Home is really good. They're at home. It's going to be a cold, frosty night in the upper Ozarks. But Greenwood prevails and finishes the regular season undefeated.
All right. We're going to do 2 more here. We're going to roll through this one real quick. 7A West battle. Kind of maybe a rivalry, not like the Battle of the Bulldogs with Fayetteville and Springdale, but Springdale Harbor at Fayetteville. So, one of the closest games Greenwood played was against Harbor. They've not been able to recreate that against some of the upper echelon teams yet, but maybe this week. Springdale Harbor at Fayetteville. Who you got, Sydney?
Listen, I just want you to just like zoom in on my stuff right now and play Purple Rain, okay? Fayetteville all the way.
Okay. Do not zoom in on my stuff and do not play Purple Rain, but I'll go with Fayetteville too. Who you got, Leland?
You talk about Purple Rain. This was so funny. Boonville plays Purple Rain when they win after their games at home. At Charleston on Friday night.
Oh, no.
Charleston played Purple Rain after the game. One of the things about high school sports that is just, I think, really funny is the little digs that teams make at each other, especially on the banners when they run out before the games. But again, Fayetteville will be playing Purple Rain on Friday night.
And they play it really, really loud.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
it
they
is
do.
like, Prince is really letting it go at Harmon Field.
It's their style.
Rest in peace. So our final game, we talked about it all show, Bentonville at Bentonville West. Boy, be the first. Sydney, is Bentonville West going to be the first? Who you got?
I want them to be. I want Bentonville West to be the first to beat Bentonville just because I think they're just a determined Bentonville West team. They're not the same team last year, and they have some determined seniors, and I really do think they could. I want it to be close. I want it to be a good game. Like the Springdale Harbor Battle of the Dale, that was close. I want this one to also be close.
But is it going to be?
I said it, Bentonville West.
Bentonville West, okay. Leland, Who do you got?
Bentonville West is very good offensively. I mean, they're really good offensively. They're very versatile. Bentonville's defense makes really good offensive teams look very, very normal and average. So Bentonville's defense is the difference in this game.
You know, it's funny when I go to these schools, they're like, "Who are you going to pick? Who are you going to pick? Can you not pick us? We need." You know, I've heard like
I think some teams are shocked because I've had that question asked to me, and I tell them.
I'm over in Bentonville's field house the other day, and they're like, "Boy, your name is Mud around here." This is after I picked them to lose to Fayetteville, and they enjoyed using that as some motivation.
Well, I think if some of them watch the show, I think it's obvious that I'm a Purple Rain stan. So,
well, no, they were talking to me though about how and they're like, "Can you pick us to lose again against Rodgers?" I'm like, "Well, I can't do that." And they said, "Well, sure you can." I said, "Well, no, we literally just shot the show, and I can't go back and change it."
Pick them to lose so that they.
So I'm
win.
sure Bentonville
Okay.
wants me to pick Bentonville West to win. I'm sure West wants me to pick Bentonville to win, and so only one team is going to be happy.
All I have to say is be confident in yourselves, gentlemen. Just say you're going to win or you're not.
You know, it would be a great night at Bentonville West if the Wolverines were able to win. So here's the motivation they need. I'm taking the Bentonville Tigers to beat Bentonville West.
So I'm the only one picking West here?
You're the believer. So
Well, if Bentonville loses, they're going to be like, Graham, it's because you picked us to win.
If only I had that kind of power, that would be truly amazing.
They think you do. They think you do. They want you to pick them to lose. So, well, all right, guys. Before we get into the Gimme 5 and the top 5, we want to remind everyone that NWAOnline.com and the River Valley Democrat-Gazette.com are the premier spots to get all the latest news on high school sports. Additionally, you can follow our Instagram and Facebook at Prep Rally Sports to get all exclusive interviews and to watch all the fun antics on what we do on the show. So with that being said, let's get into the Gimme 5.
Yo, this is Sham Davis. This is River Valley Gimme 5.
These are the top 5 performances of the past week in the River Valley, where we like to celebrate champions. Number 5, champion number 1. The Mansfield Lady Tigers won the Class 3A Volleyball State Championship on late Saturday night with their 9th state title in school history.
Underline late.
Very late. In fact, we got in very late, but I'm glad the clocks went back an hour, so that made it a little bit better. Defeated Harding Academy 3-1. Mansfield won the first 2 sets and then won the 4th and decisive or clinching set to put it away. Most valuable player was Kaylee Ward, 19 kills and 8 digs in the game.
6'4", Kaylee Ward.
6'4"?
You didn't see her at media. Oh, you weren't at River Valley basketball media day. She's a stud.
Okay.
6'4".
Model.
In fact, we've got video of. I talked to her and also senior Daisy Nelson after the game, and Daisy Nelson is she's much smaller, shorter. So the video is kind of funny because Kaylee Ward is 6'4", but Mansfield trailed 9-5 or 9-3 in the first set, came back and won. They trailed 9-5 in the second set, came back and won. Harding Academy won the third set. Mansfield trailed 14-10 in the fourth set and came back to win. So really rallied to win their 9th state championship. They were defeated last year in the quarterfinals after winning 4 straight in Class 2A. So this was the first one since way back when, winning the Class 3A state title.
Oh yeah,
We were coming out with fire for sure.
yes, we're a fighting team. We're kind of young. We told them just have confidence, play your best fight, and that's what we did. We went up. We said we was going up last year. We was going up from there. That's what we did. We went up.
It's the world.
The world.
Every girls, I'm so proud of them.
Everybody doubted us and said in 2A it's just 2A. Obviously we're gonna win 2A,
Right.
and they said we wouldn't have a chance in 3A, and here we are with the state title. Their doubt fueled us, and it made us push to the end.
Number 4, the other state champion on Saturday, the Hackett Lady Hornets won the Class 2A Volleyball State Championship with a clean sweep of Taylor, 3-0. Most valuable player, McKaylin Freeman, 15 kills, 12 digs, won her second straight Most Valuable Player award because Hackett also won last year in a clean sweep when they went 36-0 in a dominating season. They come back this year and back it up and win again. Number 3, John Scholarski of Ozark, a sophomore, in a 47-0 win over Lamar. He returned the opening kickoff, 81 yards for a touchdown. Out of the starburst formation, he was the third guy to touch the ball, ran it back 81 yards for a touchdown. 7 minutes later, he returned a punt, 95 yards for a touchdown. And then early, 3 minutes into the second quarter, returned a punt 67 yards for a touchdown. He also rushed 6 times for 84 yards. And Ozark won 47-0 to set up that big game against Clinton on Friday night. Number 2, John Crank, a senior running back for Subiaco, rushed 38 times for 338 yards and 7 touchdowns on Friday night, including touchdown jaunts of 75 and 70 yards in a 54-24 win over Marshall to set up Subiaco Academy, who will play Corning on Thursday night at Arkansas Tech for the big school 8-man state championship game. Number 1, our River Valley Democrat-Gazette Player of the Week, Samuel Schlegel, senior from Alma, in a 35-20 win over Pea Ridge. He had 8 rushes for 40 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also caught 7 passes for 163 yards and a touchdown. He now has 10 rushing touchdowns on the season. Receiving, he has 130 catches in his career, which is number 2 on the all-time list at Alma, for 2,051 yards and 13 career receiving touchdowns. He also has thrown a touchdown pass this year for Alma, so very versatile player for the Airedales. We also have special shout-outs. Of course, we already talked about Kane Archer a little bit. Friday night, he completed 24 of 28 passes for 313 yards and 6 touchdowns. He also ran for a touchdown to become the first quarterback in state history to go over 150 in passing and rushing touchdowns in his career. He also went to 24-20 on the season in passing touchdowns and rushing touchdowns, which puts him in a very exclusive group as well. And also Randall Rogers. Each week in the Thursday River Valley Democrat-Gazette, we have a cast of our sports writers who pick games. Well, this past week, and we also have a guest picker each week. Well, this past week, our guest picker, Randall Rogers of Greenwood, went 9-1, which is the first time this year that we've had anybody do that. But he went 9-1. He's on the chain gang at Greenwood football games and also works at Granger. So he's first one to go 9-1 this week. So Friday night, be sure and check out the Rex Nelson call-in show. Walter Woody, who I think has a PhD in playoff brackets, he'll be going over the playoff brackets about 11 o'clock on Friday night with Rex Nelson. He'll go through the whole thing. I'll also post the brackets late on Friday night as well. And then Saturday morning, the AAA will release the official brackets, but they kind of have to wait to get with the conferences on Saturday morning. But we'll know what it's like on Friday night, so check in. Be sure and check in Rex Nelson's show on Friday night.
Hi, I'm Miles Cowdall, and this is the NWA Top 5.
We're going to get into the Northwest Arkansas.
We're going to do that. We're going to shake it out.
Top 5, yeah.
And get into the Northwest Arkansas Top 5, more like the Top 15 this week.
Yeah, I just picked 5.
All right, these are the top 5 for the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette this week, and I'm going to lead off with my bonuses, and we're going to give a shout-out to the Farmington and Fayetteville volleyball teams. Both of them finished state runner-up in Hot Springs over the weekend. Great season for both teams, and really just a shout-out to all of our area volleyball teams in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. A lot of great stories coming out of volleyball this year, and a lot of our teams had very successful seasons. So number 5, we're going to lead off with the Gentry offense and a losing effort against Prairie Grove. We'll lead off with Tylen Williams of Gentry completing 33 of 49 passes for 524 yards, 6 touchdowns. He rushed for a touchdown. I'm going to butcher this name, but Atreyu Banks for Gentry, 5 catches, 119 yards and a touchdown, 9 tackles on defense. C.J. Bollinger, 7 catches for 102 receiving, 8 tackles on defense. He caught 3 touchdown passes as well. Jackson Holt, 7 for 155. Leland, count them up. That's 3 receivers with 100 yards. So watch out, grab it. Number 4, Leland already mentioned him. Mason Short of Siloam Springs rushed 26 times for 177 yards and a touchdown. Siloam Springs gets its first conference win since 2020 and broke a 35-game conference losing streak. So really happy for the Panthers there. Number 3, oh my goodness, Cole Creighton of Shiloh Christian. Sydney Shiloh Christian Saints just dismantled Lake Hamilton 63-12 on the road at Lake Hamilton. So that's not an easy trip.
I like to see it.
But listen to this, and I don't have what the percentage is, but he completed 22 of 24 passes for 504 yards and 8 touchdowns.
This is me saying, go Shiloh.
Oh my
But
goodness!
I think weren't those all in the first half?
I do not know that, but
I think they were all in the first half, which would tie a state record.
they did score 59 points in the first half, 49 points. And then Zane Slider caught 11 passes for 252 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he was, and Shiloh's got a really good team. They're on a collision course with Greenwood again, and I'll be there for it. Number 2, a couple of guys for Elkins who really came up big Friday night in the win at Gravett. Connor Ham, 27 carries for 142 yards, and he caught 2 passes for 23 yards. And then Ben Napier of Elkins completed 14 of 23 for 177 with a touchdown. He also rushed for 2 touchdowns, and the Elks survived the trip to Northwest Benton County. Number 1, our Northwest Arkansas Player of the Week is Elijah Sugg of Prairie Grove, who carried 32 times for 273 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also played a big role in Prairie Grove winning this game on defense. So Prairie Grove was up 45-42, and Gentry was facing a 4th and 4 at the 34-yard line. Tylen Williams drops back to pass, and Sugg, who's an outside linebacker as well, made an inside move against an offensive lineman and just dropped Williams for an 18-yard loss and a turnover on downs. Then, right after that, he scores a 13-yard touchdown to put Prairie Grove up 52-44 with a minute 22 left. He also caught a 2-point conversion pass, which ended up being huge in a 52-50 win. So, boy, there's just a lot of great athletes being recognized this week, and we try to keep it to 5, but sometimes it's just not possible.
We try to keep it at 5.
We try.
Quote that.
Try.
Exactly. Well, we hope you enjoyed today's show and just wanted to remind everyone, if you're not following us at Prep Rally Sports on Facebook or on Instagram, what are you doing, okay? Follow us for all the fun antics and interviews for post games and just all the stuff we do at Media Day and things after that. So we hope you enjoyed our show today, and we'll see you next week.